Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the ClearCryptos YouTube channel. And in this video, I am going to show you how to analyze and look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. First and foremost, what is it? What is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and why is it so important? Well, each day, a team of analysts, they analyze emotions and sentiments of investors from a variety of different sources. Then they crunch them into a simple number. And this number ranges from 1 to 100. And I'm going to show you this here in just a second. And there are various sections of this 1 to 100 scale that shows how the market is feeling about crypto at that given moment. It's a really, really cool indicator. And I always use it when I'm doing my research on macroeconomics and the overall crypto market and just how people are feeling. It's a nice metric to see what the temperature is around the cryptocurrency market, right? This year in particular, we've dealt with a ton of macroeconomic factors out of our control outside of the cryptocurrency market, right? With inflation being number one, number two, black swan events like a war going on in Ukraine. Things like this obviously impact the markets, and this is a great tool to help you know exactly what people are feeling and where people are on this scale. So let's jump in, and I'll show you kind of what this looks like. So right here today, I'm making this video on August 18th. You might be watching it a day later, but right now we're set at number 30. And again, it's 1 to 100. You won't see it coming down into the 1 or 100 range very often. In fact, the lowest point we got to this year was a 9, which that would have actually been in the extreme fear zone. Right now, we're in the fear zone. Once you get into this yellow zone, you're back to neutral. Then you start getting greedy when we get into this green area right here. This gives you some historical values of where we've been in the last month. So taking all of the measures in the last month, we're sitting at a 30, which is basically today. So we're about average for where we've been in the last month. In the last week, we've actually been up a little bit, up to that 41 zone, in that fear zone still, but getting closer and closer to a neutral sentiment. Now, during a bull market, you'll see this well into the green. You'll see greed and sometimes even extreme greed. When it does get into the extreme greed zone, expect a pullback in the crypto market. So if you're day trading or swing trading and you see this metric go all the way into the extreme greed, chances are we're going to get a pullback or a little bit of a sell-off in the short term. And you can use this as an indicator on when to take profits. So this is a plot of the fear and greed index over time, where a value of 0 means extreme fear and a value of 100 represents extreme greed. And if we go out to the 1 year, we can see back in late 2021 in October, we were up here in this extreme greed section, right? 82. Here's another one, 75. We were way up here, right? What happened after? We got a sell-off, right? Because people were taking profits. They were making a lot on their investments. And obviously, we've had the macroeconomic downturn that has impacted all of cryptocurrency. Now, why measure this? Why is it important? Well, the crypto market behavior is very emotional. People tend to get greedy when the market's rising, which results in something called FOMO, or fear of missing out. Also, people often sell their coins in a rational reaction of seeing red numbers. With our fear and greed index, we try to save you from our emotional overreactions. So there are two simple assumptions here. Extreme fear is a sign that investors are too worried. That could be a buying opportunity. When investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction or a pullback. Now, what about the data sources? So how do they actually pull this data? How do they come up with these metrics? Okay, well, it's a mix of different ways that they different measures rather that they utilize. So number one is volatility. This makes up 25% of the overall source. So they're measuring the current volatility and max drawdowns of Bitcoin and comparing it with the corresponding average values of the last 30 in the last 90 days. They argue that an unusual rise in volatility is a sign of a fearful market. How about this? They also look at market momentum and volume. This makes up 25%. So they're measuring the current volume, right? And that includes buying and selling. Generally, when we see high buying volume in a positive market on a daily basis, we can conclude that the market is overly greedy and too bullish, and that a pullback is certainly to come soon. Then social media makes up 15%, right? So they're looking at the Reddit forums, and this sentiment analysis is still not in the live index. They're still experimenting some market-related keywords in the text processing algorithm, but it will soon be in there. However, their Twitter analysis is running. So they're pulling direct hashtags and what people are talking about on Twitter. Of course, if you're new to cryptocurrency, you may have stumbled into crypto Twitter already. It's a really, really big area where a lot of crypto investors hang out, right? Of course, here on YouTube is another one of those places, and so is Reddit. So they gather and count posts on various hashtags for each coin. Publicly, we show only those of Bitcoin, they meaning this company, and they check how fast and how many interactions they receive in certain time intervals and time frames. Then how about surveys? This makes up 15%, but it's currently paused right now in their algorithm. But they do use some surveys that are widely done across the cryptocurrency space. And then a couple other things that they look at are dominance and trends. So dominance refers to how dominant is Bitcoin in the overall market. So right now, Bitcoin makes up about 40% of the overall crypto market. Ethereum makes up 20%. And when those numbers shift, it does have an impact on the overall market. So analyzing the dominance for a coin other than Bitcoin, you could argue the other way around, since more interest in an altcoin may conclude a bullish, greedy behavior for that specific coin. But here's the thing, as Bitcoin dominance comes down, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're in an altcoin rally. It could mean that we're in a bear market, right? So you have to kind of look at that in a couple different ways and also take these other metrics into consideration. And then lastly, 10% of this overall metric is pulled from Google Trends. This is something I use quite often because here's the thing, YouTube and Google, they're all one and the same. Google owns YouTube. What are people talking about? What are people searching for? What are people interested in? You can really gain a lot of great insight here, and this is all free data brought to you by Google. You can literally type in any cryptocurrency and follow the trend in the past 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, all the way up to a year. And you could see, is it trending down in search? Is it trending up? Is it pretty neutral? This gives you a good idea of where people stand on a specific cryptocurrency. And of course, you can go macro with this as well. You can literally type in search words like cryptocurrency, crypto, right? And see if more or less people are interested in crypto at that specific time. It really gives you a good insight into the macro, right? Where people are and what they're interested in at that moment. Of course, here in 2022, the interest has come down for search words like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and crypto. Less people are investing right now due to a multitude of factors, right? People have less money, less disposable income. Inflation is hitting hard. People know this. They see it. They hear it. And they're not willing to invest as much money, or they're not interested in looking there because they don't have the disposable income. However, when a bull run hits, you will see those numbers rise exponentially. So that is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Hopefully this helps you, gives you another tool in your toolbox to become a better crypto investor. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe. Check out all the links down below in the description. And come on back to the ClearCryptos YouTube channel. Many, many other great tutorials and tools like this will be analyzed and brought to you by our team. So thanks so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.